Good morning, y'all. It's time for us to start working on this door. I'm gonna have to do a lot of percolating as I move on, as I do it, because I've been thinking about this thing all week and how I'm gonna do it. So, my plan is to pretty much make just another wall, obviously bigger than this one, to fill this. But I got a bunch of L brackets, that way it's nice and sturdy. And then we had to figure out the hinging system. So let's build this wall first. I'm going to start off of here with a 2x4 and make an L. Make an L first, and then we'll situate everything in. That way we can have work on the bottom up here, and then we'll fill everything else in. That's the plan. So let's get on it. One thought. Since I'm going to be making a door, and it's not going to be attached to anything, when I do my corners, should I cut at 45 to give a bit more strength and use the L bracket? I think that's what I'm going to do. For this piece, where it connects at the bottom, we'll cut it at a 45. And we'll be using the L bracket, corner brace bracket, whatever you want to call it. Say, I want it that way. Not the most conventional way to hold the boards, but you can see with the bracket, when I first put it on, this obviously wasn't perfectly square, so that bracket actually helped make this a right angle. So that's also gonna make it a lot more sturdy. All right, here's my thought process when it comes to hinging the door, okay? Because I have a wall right here, I'm not gonna build a door all the way across it, except for it's gonna look like I'm going to. So what I did is I got some decking board, and I'm going to basically hinge it right here so that when I open it, it'll, you know what I'm saying? Can you even see that? When it hinges like this, look at that. You know what I'm saying? So all this, the width of this is going to be able to hold the heaviness of the door. There will be two, one right here and one right there. So that's my thought process on hinging of the door. What I'm doing is I'm going to leave this up, obviously, and I've got it attached, with the grippers onto the wall. That way, it'll make it a little bit easier for me to be able to work on everything, but also so I can visually see what it is I'm doing rather than trying to measure it and walk somewhere. It's going to be easier for me to eyeball how high up over stuff like that. So. See, this is what I was talking about, being able to visualize it and do it right here, because if I attached it all the way into the board, it's gonna be up against that. Though that's good if I was building a stationary wall, but I'm not. So I have to move this in a bit, because when I close the door, obviously it has to clear all that. Okay, so here's what I got so far. Essentially, I'm making it as if I were to be making a gate. So my thought is, since this is going to be the most structural, like going to hold the most weight, I've got these angle pieces in here so that, you know, as it sits, weight is distributed along here. So maybe it'll keep it level. So yeah, that's what I'm. Of course, I haven't done anything else. I'm trying to use this the least amount of wood as possible, but also it needs to be structurally sound. So I want this to be solid, least amount of wood as possible, but I also need to know. I know I will need a board across the top because on the inside that's where we'll hang, you know, the kill cones and stuff. So that's gonna have something, you know, good to attach to, but I just want to make sure that it will hold up as we open it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my board right here that I was going to do. I'm going to attach it across with my hinges and test it. Tell me why I still have this song in my head. Tell me why. Yeah, I got those pieces put on. I didn't film it. Sorry, there were some choice words said during the installation process. So now, let's try it. I mean, that does good. That's going to be, that's where it's not structural. That's where I needed to do this. Right? Because all the weight's down here now, and I'm putting a lot of weight on just the hinges. I mean, the wall itself is doing good. So, alright, so what I did wrong, all the weight's down here. I was too worried about this part being solid. That's where I went wrong. Okay, so now we can fix it. We know where we're at. I'm going to take off these boards because technically I don't need them. I need to make where the hinges are. That's where all the weight is. I don't know, why did I not think of that? That's okay. Like I said, you just go ahead and percolate and think this thing through. So, yeah, that'd be good. That's where we need to work on it. So let me think about how I'm going to do this. Yeah, let me think a little bit. Give me a little bit. Okay, this is what I've gotten so far after some deliberation. And then I also found my biggest problem. So this is what I did. Okay, took 2x4s, did that. Okay, definitely makes it sturdy, a lot better. Obviously this will be done different. Still have to pick up on it to close it. But my biggest problem was this wall. This little wall was having issues holding up the whole door, of course. So I figured out that if I put a piece here, obviously it's not going to be in the ground, this is just a test. Put a piece right there and I'll mount it to basically the floor. That prevents it from coming this way and definitely makes that wall a lot more sturdy. Definitely didn't think about that at the beginning. Wish I would have. But hey, like I said, we're doing this to the best of our ability, the best way we can. I'm no carpenter. I'm just figuring this out. So that's going to be a huge fix right there. And then of course I can finish building the door and figure out how to make it as light as possible too. Because now that I know that the door itself and the hinges weren't the problem, it's going to make it a lot easier to go forward. So I'll get this diagonal piece right here installed, and then I'll give this wall a lot more brace and the ability to hold the door. But it's coming along. I think it's going to look pretty cool. I think it's kind of excited. There it is. Not as extravagant as I pictured in my head. And that's because, like I said, I need this side being lighter than the other side. So it works. Of course, it's still, I mean, it's still heavy. But remember, you know, I said I want to do a wheel down here, but it really isn't that bad. I mean, it really isn't. I have to pick it up just a tad to put it back up. But it's not, like I said, I'm not opening and closing it, a lot. So I know I said I needed a board to go across for the kill cones. Whenever I do the wood on the outside of this door, I'm planning on, it's either going to be a large sheet of plywood that I kind of cut at an arch. Whatever I do, I can mount a board to it later, or even bolt it to it for stability, that will hold the kill cones when it's open and stuff. So this is just a skeleton, but I'm glad I got it done. I'm happy with it. I think it's going to work out well. So we'll get plywood, or they might use those like the slats like I have down on like the wood slats. You can't see. I don't know if you can see the fence. I mean, of course that thing's in the way. Let me walk you over there. So like fencing boards like this, I could use fencing boards. These are light. They're not super heavy, but when you do a lot of them, it could be heavier. So honestly, we will figure that part out on the go. I know so now it's time for like the real tedious stuff. I've got to work on getting electricity in here, which shouldn't be too hard. I'll run it up the side, GFCI breaker thing. Of course, I'm gonna bring it along, but this is what I had to do left. Water, breaker, and then we'll close it in. We'll dry everything in fully. We gotta put stuff on the bottom of our platform here, on the door. So on the inside of the door, I did price that white plastic bumpy stuff that's like in like kitchens and things, and they're like $40 for a sheet. So I need probably 2, 4, 5 sheets. So that's a hefty amount of dollar bills right there. So we will be working towards that. We're gonna do some small stuff now while we work on the budget for the finishing touches. But I'm happy with how it's turning out. So I might still, like, you can see how far that dropped, which I think it's because of where I have my hinges mounted. So once I clean all this crap up, I can open the door fully, and then I can adjust the hinges. Maybe that'll make a difference, because it does drop. That's a good 2x4 length. But there's a piece for the wall. So that's going to be it for today in this video. I will work on cleaning my junk up, at least getting it out of my way. I got a whole trailer full of junk too I got to take off. So slowly but surely, we'll keep trucking, we'll keep moving forward, and I need to get that wheel ordered as well. But I appreciate y'all hanging out. This is a fun project. This is gonna change a lot of stuff. So thank y'all.